Welcome to the Retirement's Next Steps podcast. I'm your host, Jill Templeton-Haislip, Global Real Estate Advisor and Senior Real Estate Specialist with Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty DeGeorge Partners. This podcast is a valuable resource for retirees looking to connect with industry experts who can enhance your retirement experience. With so many companies, products, and services available, it can be overwhelming to know where to start. Let us help you navigate through it all and find the resources you truly need to make the most of your retirement years. As always, you can join us in person with each of our industry experts for the full presentation every month on the last Thursday at 4 p.m. Our office is located at 16872 East Avenue of the Fountains, Suite 103 in Fountain Hills, Arizona. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started. Hello, today's Retirement Next Steps workshop is with Charles Scott of Pelleton Capital. Charles is the founder and president of Pelleton Capital Management. They stand out in the financial services industry with a specialized focus on supporting families impacted by dementia. With over 3 decades of experience, Charles has dedicated himself to providing independent, objective, and unbiased advice to clients in the Phoenix-Scottsdale area since 1999. His expertise is not just in financial planning, but also in navigating the complex challenges faced by families dealing with dementia-related issues. Charles is joining with me today because we needed to discuss long-term care. People don't know what that is, and they get scared by it.
Absolutely true. They think it's something that it's not necessarily, or they have read something or heard about it from years ago, and they don't know that it's changed dramatically in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Right.
So the care itself is still there. It's the way you pay for it that's changed dramatically.
Okay. So what tips would you give somebody just initially when they hear long-term care? I feel like people kind of cringe a little bit, kind of back away.
Yeah.
So what are the comfort to get them comfortable with having the conversation to start?
Well, that's a good way. That's a good question to ask. And I think it's just letting them know that it's probably not what they think it is.
Okay.
You've heard this. It's different. It's truly dramatically different in our opinion. We stayed away from it for years just because I didn't like the way that you were sort of locked into some of the stuff that you had to do.
Okay.
A lot more flexibility now, a lot more options available to families. And it still does, from a financial point of view, it really truly can make a huge difference in the cost of aging.
Right. So give kind of a broad overview because it can get very detailed for specific needs. But what would somebody overall use long-term care insurance for?
Well, statistically, it's about 70% of anybody over 65 is going to need some long-term care at some point in time. Families have always been hesitant because historically, up until just the last 4 or 5 years, which is why we got involved, it's been you get insurance for it, but it's kind of like your car insurance. Is you pay the premium every year, and you hope you never get in a wreck, but if you do,
right,
it's there. It's there. And that's what long-term care was. You pay the premiums, and if you never need it, you still pay the premiums. It's changed. I mean, and again, that's what I mean. I will beat the idea of change to death probably, but it's new and it's different and it's a lot more. I think it makes more sense. Certainly makes more sense to us, and I think it makes more sense to most people because you own an asset. Mm-hmm. That asset can convert into long-term care if you need it, but if you don't need it, then that asset passes on to your beneficiaries.
Okay,
because it is insurance.
So if somebody were to need long-term care insurance, is it something like you get on and you Google and it's like, all these different insurance companies come up?
Sure, you can.
Why do they not want to do that? Why is it important to talk to somebody?
Because they don't know anything about what they're looking at.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm going to give you my fundamental financial premise.
Okay.
And I think everything will spin from that. You already know what it is. In the richest country in the history of the world, we have a population that's completely financially illiterate. So they don't know if it's good, if it's bad, or if it's indifferent. They have no idea if it's appropriate for them. They don't know. You need to talk to somebody that's licensed, that's professional, that's experienced, that you can trust because there's sometimes, like in any business, people that aren't necessarily trustworthy.
Right.
And you need to educate yourself because it's a big deal. And it's also kind of complicated if you never ventured into it. There's a lot of moving parts, but we try to simplify it as much as we possibly can so that people can get it. And it means they can get it as in understand it and then make the informed choice. Do I want to do this or not?
Right. And you're there through the entire process.
Oh,
from
sure.
the learning about it, getting set up.
Yeah.
I need to use it.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
And I think that that's really important as well for people to understand that you are in a sense, a concierge service, that you're there for the entire process.
Yeah. We're not going to do the care component of it, but we're going to connect you with all of the professionals that will therefore, be involved in that when and if that triggers. So it's, you've got to take care of your clients.
Now, if I am a 85-year-old woman,
yep,
am I able to get long-term care insurance? I'm not 85, by the way.
Okay, I guess not. Possibly yes. It gets, the older you get, the a little bit more challenging, and you're about to age out of that. To be honest, I don't know that there are very many policies that I can think of right off the top of my head. But that's why we work with professionals all over the country that quite candidly know more about this than we do. We don't need to know everything. We need to know that they know everything, and we need to know them.
Absolutely.
And that's who we go to. So if that was the scenario, we would call half a dozen people and say, will this work? And they'll let us know.
Right. And I think that's what's really important is when I worked in senior living and I would be talking with families, they would say, "Phew, I'm really glad mom got long-term care insurance, but I am way too old for it." I'm like, "You're in your 40s or 50s. Oh, I should have gotten that in my 20s. Yeah, I'm like, no, you can go and get it. And I think that's also a big misconception that I would hear often.
No, I can understand that. It's once you get over 75-ish, it becomes a little more difficult to get it, but up until that point, and that's not a hard and fast number either.
Mm-hmm.
So again, ask, we'll go hunt. We know the people that know everything about it, and we rely on them for the expertise that we don't have. Okay. I mean, nobody can do all of this all the way on everything.
Right. So absolutely. We have to rely on our trusted professionals. Yep. Hence what we're doing here at Retirement's Next Steps. It's bringing the industry experts. I know enough to get them to you.
Yeah, well, that serves us too. As if somebody wanted to do from us, ask us what you do, or they're looking for somebody like you, we would do the same thing. Right. So you've got to know the people that know more about you, about things than you do. Nobody knows enough. Nobody knows everything. Right. Nobody does.
What other myths or common mistakes? What else do you want to share with our listeners that is really a key takeaway?
Okay. The one thing that has been up until the last 3 years is that, I have some issues. Well, there are ways that you can obtain care now, insurance, long-term care insurance now, where you don't have to qualify at all.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you have some there. The benefits aren't as robust as if you went through a whole medical underwriting process, because that wouldn't make any sense for them to give you as much value as somebody that's healthier than you are. But you can get it. Nobody's denied. Again, it might not be completely. It was not going to be as robust as somebody that's healthy, but you can get it. And you still will leverage the dollar, and I think that's a key concept. You put $1 in, and you can turn it into $2 or $3 worth of care. Even if you can turn it into $1.50 worth of care, is it still worth doing? We think probably it is.
Okay. I think those are the two most important things I want to make sure that people thus far get out of this. That you can still get it even if you have something wrong, and you don't have to be 20 years old. Nope. Start looking into these things when you learn about it. Obviously, the younger you are, there's probably benefits.
Yeah, there are. But it's not as heavily weighted for people that are younger. It's a lot more, has a much greater appeal. In some instances, the older you get until you get to some, at some point, then it's like, okay, then the benefit begins to taper off again. Mm-hmm. But, you don't have to be looking at it like you do when you're young and have your first kids and you need life insurance because what's going to happen? I have to replace my income. It's a totally different concept than that. Right.
And I would say from my experience, again, working in senior living, the ability of people to be able to move into a community is life-changing by having long-term care. insurance. I mean, it truly is the difference of staying at home and hoping that your family can help take care of you, or being able to move into a community where you can thrive and get the care that you need. It's extremely important.
Yeah, and you're not necessarily having to spend all of your dollars that maybe you wanted to leave to a healthier spouse, or you wanted to leave to the kids or the grandkids. Again, you're leveraging those dollars, and it lets you go a lot farther in the spectrum of the care you need without running out of money. Because the idea is that's not a good idea.
Right. Yes. So in addition to long-term care that you guys offer those services for, do you want to talk a little bit more about what Peloton offers for anybody who's listening so they know to reach out?
Yeah. I'm shrinking in the chair. We're a full-service financial planning firm, and we do soup to nuts from a financial planning point of view. A lot of what we do is manage assets for clients. It might be finding some other kinds of insurances. It might be finding somebody that is an expert in an area that we're not an expert in. So it's really comprehensive, not one size fits all, but very individualized. And if we don't know something, we'll tell you we don't know. But having done it as long as I've done it, I've seen almost everything imaginable. And most of it's really pretty interesting, and it's changing quickly all the time. But if we don't know, we'll tell you we don't know, and then we'll tell you we'll find somebody. So, an interesting way to look at it, I think, and I'll ask, I think you know the answer to the question. And it's the jigsaw puzzle question. Yeah, okay.
I love the jigsaw.
Okay, okay. So, the folks that are watching or listening, if you've ever worked a jigsaw puzzle, what's the most important piece? What's the most important piece of the jigsaw puzzle?
It was upside down.
Yeah, okay. Well, the person on the other side of the table putting the puzzle together, it's upside down for them too.
Right.
So you know the answer, but what's the most important piece of any jigsaw puzzle? The corner, the edges. That's what most people will say. Our contention is the most important piece is the box top. If you don't have the box top, if you don't have the box top, you don't know what the puzzle's supposed to look like. Now, it's your jigsaw puzzle. It's your life's puzzle, financial puzzle. We just want to be your box top. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's really that simple. It's your puzzle. We'll just help you put all the pieces together in the right way so that it fits.
And you guys are very connected in the Phoenix metro area with being able to connect individuals, as you had mentioned before, to the right resources.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how we connected.
That's exactly.
And I think that that's really, really important that, some people try to just go at it alone. And I don't think that's the best way to do it because we can't fix every problem for somebody. But being a resource and getting them into the right hands and being a support goes a really, really long way. And I appreciate how much you guys do rely on your resources have made good relations.
We do a lot. And the nice thing about how we met was this group of professionals it's not just anybody can get into this group. You've got it. They're vetted. They're professional. They have standards they have to hold to all the time. Mm-hmm. It's easy to refer to those folks because we know they're good people. They know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
So that's really important because there's a whole bunch of stuff in the financial planning and in the senior care world I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So I go stick, I'm going to stay in my lane, do what I do best, and rely on the other experts to help out where it's needed.
Absolutely. Now, how will folks be able to get in touch with you if they would like to schedule a meeting with you?
Well, our phone, it's Templeton-Capital.com, Pelleton, you're going to .com, right there. And the phone number is 480. That's my phone number. 6048. What is it? Where'd it go? It's my phone number's not on there. Okay, you don't have to cut this out. This is real. 480-513-1830.
Try it one more time. So
480. I don't know. I got it right once. 480-513-1830.
I love it.
That's it.
Call or text, or maybe go to the website.
Or Pelletoncapital.com. Yeah.
Or you can always reach out to me and I can get you in touch with Charles.
How do I get home now?
Charles, is there anything else that you would like to share today? I know you're just getting ready to give a great presentation for us at our Retirement's Next Steps workshop, which we hold here at our office at DeGeorge Partners, Russ-Lyon Sotheby's International Realty. But for those who are just able to come online and just catch a snippet, what else do you want to share with them?
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to say, gee, this is something I probably need to find out about, but I don't know enough to ask. Just ask.
There's no stupid questions.
No, there's not at all. They're stupid people, but they're not stupid questions. You can edit that out.
I think also sometimes, people think, well, I'm at a certain age or a certain level. I should know these things, so I don't want to ask.
No,
but you should.
Oh, yeah, you should. If it's something that's on if you think about it more than just once or twice casual, if it's popping back into your head, then call and ask. Because it may not be something that we can do, but again, with the resources that we have, that we're connected with, we can help you find somebody that can solve what's on your mind. Because when your brain's working on it, you need to have some, and you're not sure where to go.
Yeah. And don't just use Google.
Oh, Lord, no.
Please don't just use Google.
Or high ratings on no.
We could go down that path for a while.
No, I don't want to go down that path. We have an online presence, and we just do the minimum because we don't expect anybody to go, oh, yeah, that's perfect for me, until we've had a conversation.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for coming and being a part of Retirement's Next Steps. And I hope that everybody enjoyed listening to Charles and I. And the phone number, one more time.
602-480-513-1830. I don't call it.
It's a 480 number. Don't dial the 602. Thank you for listening to another episode of Retirement's Next Steps podcast. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me at 303-204-4432 or via email at jill@degeorgepartners.com. If you would like to attend one of our Retirement's Next Steps workshops, you can find the schedule on our website at Templeton-Haislip.com. Make sure to subscribe to Retirement's Next Steps YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. Wishing you a happy and fulfilling retirement. We look forward to connecting with you again soon.